What? Go live. Anyway, oh god, and now the chat is still the old chat, and I need the new chat. There's too much chats going on. Copy. Oh, I messed it all up. Let's see here. Paste. Okay. Yes, new chat. Okay, old chat is hopefully empty now. And there's new chat. Okay, okay. Can everyone see me? I have no idea anymore. Oh man. That was bad. New chat, yes. See, I need to change my recording setting a little bit. There we go. Yes. This stream is off to a Dr. Z's stream start. Yeah. Okay, a little bit too hot. There we go. Kinda. And we're ready. So, this makes up for all the times I was early. Now I'm a little bit late. The new season. What? What new season? Hit the dark button for the LEDs? What? Which LEDs? I don't even know if focus is working. Is focus working? Yes. This is focused? Okay. Focus is working. Post the link on the Discord as well for latecomers. Sure, that's a good idea. But I don't have Discord open. Hold on just a second. No, that is definitely not what I want. Just 1 second, please. I'm live here. Yes, share, copy. Oh god, I'm hearing myself. That's never good. Yes, go. Publish it, whatever. Let's go. Okay, closing Discord. Okay, I'm here. You guys are here. We're all here. Let's stop pushing buttons in OBS. But it feels like my t-shirt is too dark. So, likely... likely there's some gamma settings that are wrong. But another thing I can just do is... Oh, that's a bit much. Add more light. Because we have these fancy dimmers. Fancy dimmers. How's the view? You know, I know it's still my face. That doesn't get any better, but yeah. Keep the t-shirt on. Yes, that is the plan. Don't worry about that. How about wearing a green t-shirt? Yeah, maybe at some point. Oh, Nicholas was troubleshooting an ESP32 and he talked to us on the Discord and now it's running normally again, magically. That happens. If it knows we're watching, it better behave. So, I don't know, are you getting like the full 60? Because I see some hiccuping sometimes, it looks like. I'm not sure. And, because we are using OBS 28, I believe, and the new HLS streaming method, and we are using H.265. I'm not one of those AV1 guys yet. Who knows, maybe in the future. And I thought I could do 4K over HLS instead of RTMP, but seemingly that's still not allowed. Which kind of sucks. 1080p 60 here. Okay. White speck. Oh, it's probably white specks because I was touching my beard. There we go. Yeah, did you get accepted, Emil? 1440p 60 there. Nice. Nice. But it feels like the gamma's off somehow. Maybe it's a camera setting that I missed. I don't know. We're going to use this for now. And, yeah, we're going to do fun stuff today. Or, well, this is kind of a, hey, I didn't live stream for a while. Let's hang out and do a little Q&A and talk about the new boards. And if we get bored, there's still some stuff we can test and see if we can blow it up or something like that. I was talking to someone today who said, maybe I should do a new series like, let's try and blow it up. So, live streams dedicated into trying to make electronics blow up. You know. Philip says, you lost your touch. Need to do a weekly live stream again. Yeah, I thought I actually prepared this one a little bit, at least on the technical side. Not as bad, not as good as I thought. But, you know, if we get bored, magic smoke. Yes, you have to keep the audience, you know, entertained. Smooth like my Dig Quad, says Caddy F. Nice. Whoa, you have Big Clive for that, too. Compete with Electro Boom. I don't think so. I don't think so. But I can do it in my own, you know, flair and way. And I don't like the colors on the background, so let's see if we can change that. So let's go to colors 1 and 2. And let's make this black and this red? No. Green. Yes, we're going to have green fire today. That's nice. There we go. You're going to share many secrets today to make up for the missed live streams. Oh no! I have to think of some secrets now. Sorry. I guess I could share one. No, they're not. I don't have them here. No. Instead of a secret, I'll make a question. You know, but we'll do that later. Definite lack of pink LED. Oh, how did I not think of that, Johnny? How did I not think of that? Hold on. There we go. Let's make them slightly less bright. No, we need more fire. There. There. I've pinkified the LEDs for Johnny. So wait with the secrets till the end. Yeah, you have to gotta make them wake. So my voice is still a little bit. So we have a choice today, and we're gonna do multiple choice. I can either drink a Coke Cherry, a normal zero. Well, it's all zero sugar, you know, or a Fanta lemon, and it's up to you guys. What should I drink first? Ah, Mr. Blue's feeling left out with all that pink. Pink cola, this one? Yeah, hey, that's two. Need blue, pink, green, and yellow. You can't select that many colors in WLED. Fanta. That's different. It's Fanta, but okay. Cherry Coke. More votes for the cherry. Ah. I was actually doing a secret latency test. It seems the latency isn't too bad. Fanta? A mix? No. We tried mixing before. That wasn't a success. Oh, so now we have a few Fantas. You mix them all together. No, we're not doing any mixing. No. I just got better. Oh, you pour the Fanta into the sink. Oh, no, I like this lemon stuff. It's good. Fat fingers. 7-Up? No? What? Cherry. Okay. I'll take the cherry first. So this screen is at least working. That's good. Slightly overexposed, I feel. We'll leave it for now. Cola mixes well with rum. Maybe, but I don't drink alcohol, so I wouldn't know. I don't like the taste of alcohol, so, you know. Anyway, It's a Friday. We're doing a live stream. Cheers. What's everyone else drinking? You will be drinking Pushkin Black tonight. No idea what that is. Bacardi, bottoms up. No. Oh, Bart DC has an interesting question. This is a Q&A. We'll do Dig-Octa stuff, but you can Q&A everything. You have two ESP32 AE Plus fulls. Can I use them standalone for running WLED, for example? Or do I need to combine with one of your boards, the Uno or Quad? You can actually run them standalone. The ESP32 is perfectly fine for that, and the USB-C power supply and stuff like that. And all the outputs and everything will work just fine. The only thing to take into account and to make sure is that all grounds, if you're using, for instance, a USB-C power supply and then a 5 or 12 volt or whatever LED power supply, that all those grounds are connected. So the ESP32 board doesn't have a ground terminal coming out because it's designed to be used with a Dig Uno or Dig Quad, which does have those and then links everything together. So if you make sure you have a decent ground connection coming off of there, like using one of the bottom pins on the ESP32 board, you can use that as a standalone LED controller in that sense without a Dig Uno or Dig Quad. I would advise you to use it with it, of course, but it does work as a standalone product. Good evening from the UK, everybody. Hello, Tony. Rivella Framboos. Rivella, I believe, also has a green tea variant. I think I like that one. Plain oat Coke Zero. Paulson, we started twice. You're late. Yeah. How does the Dig-Octa brainboard and distro board stack and connect together? Well, that's a good question, and I think it's a good one to start with. Because how about we just build a little stack and I show you guys how to do that. Yeah, Bart, so external power is fine. You just need to make sure that the ground of the ESP32 and the AE Plus module is the same as your big LED power supply. So you have to make a separate connection there because there isn't a terminal for that. Maximum stack. Now we're not doing a maximum stack. We're going to do a normal stack. So here we have a Power 7. Oh wait, no, I have so many cameras. Why don't I just show you on a camera? So this is a Power 7 board. So it has 16 outputs here for positive, 16 outputs negative, and then input terminals. And we can stack a brainboard on top of that. So let's get a brainboard. This is a brainboard. It is a little controller board which doesn't do anything power related. Well, it does do something power related, but not for the LEDs. And you can actually stack it on top like so. But then you, of course, need some stacking posts and stuff like that. Now, I need to see where I have them because I got them all neatly in kits and stuff like that. Normally, when you're going to buy these boards soon, you're going to get little baggies like this, which have all the required standoff posts and screws and things like that in there. But the standoffs for the power boards are actually different than for the brain boards. So the brain board uses M2.5 and the power board, you can kind of see it here, uses M3. And that's how you can also keep them apart. I think these... Nope. So to stack, let's see if I still have a baggie with the right standoffs, or did I messed it all up? I think I messed it all up. No, that's not one either. So I can see, because you need a small pluggable terminal instead of a big pluggable terminal in the back. And I think I used all the baggies in testing. So, yeah, okay, well, here's some more connectors I might need. Okay, so as you can see here in my box, I have lots of standoffs that are not in a baggie anymore. And let's see if we can use this one. No, we can't. Because for the standoffs to the board, we're going to screw on both sides. So we need female to female standoffs. So as long as I can, when I find them, I'll show you. No. No. Nope. Nope. I think they're here somewhere, but I just don't know where. Where did I put them all? I have a board completed over there, but I should have more. So, Nicholas says, so the power doesn't pass through the brainboard like the Dig Uno and Quads. Brainboard is data only, and you send power directly to the LEDs from the distro board. That is 100% correct. So yeah, we kind of pulled power and data apart. Of course, you need power for this guy, but that will also be supplied by the power board. Here we go. Is it these I need? Are you the guys I'm looking for? I think so. And we need one more. And then, so let's see if, hold on. Too much baggies. So let's see if these are indeed the correct standoffs. This one has no screw. I think so. So we have a screw. Let's see if that fits the board. It does. And then we can screw this on. Okay. Let me prepare that, and I'll zoom you in a little bit. So to stack a brain board on top of a power board, let me turn the mic slightly, there. We need 5 posts with 10 screws. Because we're going to screw the top and the bottom, and then, well, there's 5 posts in between there. The easiest way I've found to do this is basically I take, I zoom in a little bit. Is the music too loud? Let's turn it down a little bit. There. So I take a screw, I poke it through one of the standoff holes in the power board, like so, and then I take a standoff and I just thread it on there while keeping my finger on the screw. It'll automatically take, and it just only needs to be finger tight. You don't really have to tighten these down. So then we basically do the same thing here. Poke the screw through, take the standoff, twist it on. Yeah. And we repeat that 5 times. Alan Robinson's here. If I wanted to make a portable LED using WLED powered off a USB battery, what board would work best for that? I'm trying to make a totem pole I can carry with me while music at a festival. Well, that is something that's going to be released really soon, and we're going to do an intermezzo here. That's this guy. This is a Dig-to-Go, and it's not in focus. This is a Dig-to-Go. It has a little button. It has a single little output cable to hook up your LEDs. And then it has a USB-C in, and it will do 5 volt, 3 amps from a USB power bank or something like that. So we can talk a little bit more about this later. Let's finish the Dig-Octa question first. But yeah, this is specifically made, and this is a new controller that I'll be releasing soon, to do exactly like you're saying. It even has a built-in microphone and stuff like that. So let's go back to the Dig-Octa. I see a question. Will the Dig-Octa be sold through Dr. Z's? Yes, it will be, for sure. I'm trying to time the release such that the boards will be available there at the same time as at Worldwide. There might be a few days difference, but then it won't make too much of a difference really if you order at Worldwide or Dr. Z's, because it will arrive at the same time basically. And if you order through Dr. Z's, you're likely saving a bit of shipping. So this is the last standoff. So again, finger at the bottom, just holding it onto the screw, and then you can finger tighten that. And now we have a board with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 standoffs. Now, interesting note about these standoffs. All the standoffs, so these, and these are ground. So everything here is ground, except this one. This one will carry the same voltage as you're inputting to your power board to the brain board. So the way that works is you then put the brain board on top of here, and then you go looking for screws again, which will normally be in your pack. But for some reason, I have a large amount of standoffs, but no screws. Not sure how that's huh? Maybe I have a baggie here? No. Where did my screws go? One moment, please. One moment. Okay, I'm back. That's why there's music, right? So normally, if this would have been a video, I would have, of course, have been perfectly prepared and had all the screws and everything there. So the thing is, what I normally do is I align the middle one like that, but I don't screw it in fully. And then I do the others. So again, these are M2.5 posts with M2.5 screws. But everything you need for this will come delivered with the board. So there will be a little baggie which has, which has all these connectors and then the posts and the screws. So yeah. What? I wasn't playing with my nuts. Come on. I do that off stream. Okay, so first we started by making attaching the posts to the power board. They're using 5 screws and 5 posts. These are 3 centimeter posts, and then they're female, so we also screwed it in at the top. And now we have a very sturdy connection. Power is running through there, and we have a completed brainboard, or power board and brainboard Dig-Octa stack. So yeah, and now you could ask, okay, but then how do we stack a second brainboard? It's good you ask, because I don't have one here. Hold on. Oh, I'm stuck in wires. There we go. I do have a second brain board. There we go. So you could ask, okay, then how do we stack the second brain board? Well, you basically just unscrew these. Well prepared stream, absolutely. So we undo the screws on top, not on the bottom. And even though these posts are finger tight and on the power board, most of the time they'll stay put. So that's good. Yes, ground. All posts are ground except this middle one. So ground, 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 ground. Everything's ground. Okay, so we have our single power board, but now we want to stack. Now I'm going to look in here because in theory they should be in here, I think. Let's see here. Yes. So included again in the pack in that same little baggie you're going to get with it. Put the stream in retro mode. What does that even mean? You're going to get another 5 posts. So there will be 5 female posts, and there will be 5 female male posts. Because if we want to stack on top of this, we do exactly the same, but instead of screwing in a screw, we now screw in a standoff post, which is male-female. So that male part takes care of the screw part. And you just screw it in there. Oh wow. Okay, that's a bit low resolution, yeah. And now we basically have the first power board, the first brain board in place, because it's now held in by these posts. And you just put the second power board on top of there. And there we go. We just screw in the top one. Almost done. So let's finish these. And now, there you have it, a stack with 2 brain boards. These are, everything we just used will be included in the pack. These will be 3 centimeters to lift it kind of off the power board like that. And these will be 2 centimeters because that's plenty enough clearance for over here. And, you know, you don't want to make the stack too high. So yeah, now we have a power board with 16 power outputs. And we have 2 brain boards with 8 LED outputs each. So that's a great match. Yes, all these brain boards come with micro SD card slot, Ethernet, external antenna. All are the same. So they all come with everything. What's the size of the power board? That's a good question. I believe we're currently at... Oh, I think I wrote it down. Did I make an article? Not yet, I think. I am going to make an article. But I believe we're at 115 by 150. So this is 15 centimeters, and this is 11.5 centimeters. So they're quite big. I mean, if we take a look at a random dig quad I have, this is a dig quad. So a dig quad is about the same size in its width, while this in its depth, and it's well, you know, it's much bigger that way. The Dig Quad is kind of the same size as a brain board, right? But yeah, the Dig-Octa is much bigger. There is, of course, there are different modules. That is fully correct. For instance, over here, I have a Power 5. This is the Power 5 I reworked during a stream. Seems one of the stand-ups came loose. But all the power boards have the same form factor. So they're exactly the same size. They have exactly their mounting holes on the same positions. Their standoff positions are exactly the same. Even their input plug positions are exactly the same. It's just the output that's different. So Power 5, Power 7, and Power 7 HC all have the same form factor. And the same screw holes, etc., etc. So, I mean, if you take a look here, this is a Power 7 HC with, what's this, 8 gauge? Yeah, with 2 times 8 gauge connected. That is still exactly, because, I mean, I use these little standoffs that will also be included as feet, and I can line this up and perfectly slot them together, right? So, all power boards are exactly the same form factor with exactly the same screw holes. Yeah. So this is another stack. Interestingly enough, the Power 7 will come delivered with 5 and 10 amp fuses. You use the 5 amp fuses for edge connections, and you use the 10 amp fuses for middle connections. That way you always have the right fuse size. But the Power 7 HC will come delivered with 16 times 10 amp fuses, because this one is 50 amp max and the HC version is 100 amp max. So then the 5 amp fuses didn't make sense. You can, of course, replace these with the fuses you need. I don't recommend going above a 10 amp per output. And if you do need more than 10 amp for one output, if you're doing a bus bar line or something like that, you can use the double up feature of the Power 7, where you basically use 2 terminal holes to connect one cable using a 4 terminal, and it has the added advantage that now power is running over 2 fuses, so you can go up to 20 amps without extra heat or something like that. And that works on the Power 7 and the Power 7 HC. The 15 megawatt version, yeah, I don't know about that. So these are still the pre-production boards. So version 1 release 0. What's in production is version 1 release 1, which has some slight improvements, but it's mostly silkscreen and production improvements and things like that. Electronic wise and design wise, not that much changed. It now also has the power meter. You don't see it on here, but the power meter will also come included. Yeah. Now, I probably missed a lot of questions. Let's see here. Dig-to-Go. Will Octas be sold in the US? Yes. Will there be a relay board in the future? I think this would be useful add-on since the Octa is suited for really big projects. What's your take on that? So this board, or the brain board, has a dedicated relay output terminal. So you have 5 volt coming out here. So unlike on the Dig Uno and the Dig Quad, it's a 5 or 12 or 24 volt in. This one's different. This one is a 5 volt output. So you need to get 5 volt relay boards, and then it'll always be compatible. No matter what's coming into the brain board, either using Q power post or this connector, it doesn't matter what power is coming in, even if that's 12 or 24 volt. The relay output, so the relay power output, will always be 5 volt. And then you have a ground and you have a 5 volt trigger signal. And you can use that per brain board to trigger a relay for your power supplies, but that's always going to be an external board. I don't think I'll be designing a relay board to go in a stack, because that would mix AC and DC very close together, and I feel it's best left separate. And basically, I don't think I can make those relay boards as cheap as they are available already. So yeah. So that's about relays. Yes, Nicholas Rutledge, the standoffs carry the power for the brain boards. Just the brain boards, nothing else. You find the standoffs a bit standoffish. Yeah, well, the screws is just because I've been tinkering and playing and testing and stuff like that. Normally, you get these nice little baggies, and they have everything you need, including the screws. And oh, here's one with the screws left. But I just, I messed it up. I should have sorted it out with M2 screws, M3 screws, and then M2 standoffs and M3 standoffs. But I just threw it in a big bucket. M2.5 is really hard to find. M2 is the smallest they sell. Well, M2.5 is bigger. I'm confused. Yeah, I know we had that discussion, but I still kept with it. High side switch plus wire or low side switching negative wire? I generally advise you to switch the live on an AC power supply. So don't switch the DC side, switch the AC side. But I'm not sure what we're talking about. The Pico power board. What? Well, I guess I could make a power board the size of a brain board. I guess. But then you just have a Dig quad. I mean, then, if I do that, just get a Dig quad. Because it's already the size of a brain board. So, I mean, yeah. Yes, brainboards can indeed, and Andelish is right, be powered in three ways. They can be powered using, this screw of the Q power post, so then it gets the same power as the power board. There are limitations there. If you're using 5 volt, I don't recommend going higher than 3 unless you add extra power. And if you're using 12 volt, you can go up to 5 or 6, and with 24 volt, you can build, a giant tower. But that's one way of getting the power in. The second way of getting power in is this 2-pin connector here. You can see the other one over here. And the third way is using USB-C. And using this USB plug is a perfectly valid way of powering this up, because it'll only power that board. So as you can see here, if I plug that in, you see this board turns on. But even though everything is stacked together, if I plug in the board below that, you see that the board below that is turned on now, but the board on top here isn't. So I've regulated where power can flow and protected how much can flow and everything like that. So if you want to use Q power post for the main power on the power supplies, that's a great idea. And if you then want to keep a brain board alive while you switch off the power board using the relay terminal, that's fine. You just, even though this might be 12 volt and 12 volts coming in through Q power post, and then this is 5 volt, and you might be injecting 24 volt here. I don't know. That's all fine. You can do all of that all at the same time. All good. And I mean, I've even been testing with these little Ethernet extractor dongles. These were the cheapest I could find on AliExpress. They give off something that's supposed to be like 12 volt, and you just, you plug it into the 2-pin over here, you plug it into the Ethernet, and you plug in a PoE connector, or power over Ethernet, and now we have a board that's online. It's even blinking, and yeah, we now have a PoE fed brain board. So now you can use this for standby power and still have a 5 volt relay output, although this is 12 volt coming in, and still switch your big power supply of 5, 12, 24 volt, whatever. It all works. As long as it's between 5 and 24 volt, you can use all of the inputs at the same time with different voltages stacked together. It's all fine. Is there any reason why you need 2 brain boards stacked on top of each other? Yes, if you want more ports, so a normal BrainBoard or the BrainBoard 328L has 8 local LED ports. So these two, that's 2 times 4. But if you need 16, because you want to run 16 props, you add a BrainBoard on top, and now you have 16 ports. They are still 2 separate controllers, like for in X-Lights and things like that. But as long as you hook them up through Ethernet or use the SD card feature, that doesn't make too big of a difference. So that way you can expand ports if you don't need more power, like with a 16-port power board. Or if you want to run a higher total number of LEDs. With WLED, I wouldn't go above 2,000 LEDs per BrainBoard. And with ESP Pixel Stick, you can go a little bit higher, like 3,000. But if you run into that limit, so you're having lots of outputs which with hundreds of LEDs each, you again add a BrainBoard and continue on there. Now, again, those are 2 separate controllers software-wise. But if you're doing an external show, it doesn't make too big of a difference. I don't have a link right now for the PUE cable. I think it's in one of the previous live streams, but I'm not sure I'd recommend this adapter. I haven't opened it up yet because I need to look inside to see if there is a... How do you call that again? Basically, there's 2 ways of converting power, isolated and non-isolated. And if you have something PUE, it's allowed to be non-isolated if it's not connected to another power supply. So for instance, you're feeding a camera and the camera only has the PUE power supply, then it's a non-isolated converter is fine. But if you're using something like this, which will also have a separate power supply also connected to it, officially, you're not allowed to do that without an isolated DC-DC converter. Unofficially, it works fine, but yeah, I still need to look into that. No, we're not going to open it up now. Maybe in another stream, but there's a lot of sawing involved. So, for now, I just say, look at my PUE article on Quinled.info. Go to Quinled.info, digitally adjustable LEDs, and just hit Control find for PUE. There I recommend some converters, and they specify that they have a isolated conversion in there, and then you know it's just going to work. And you can even get them with USB-C plugs, or just snip off whatever plug comes with it and use the 2-pin. That's all fine. Ever plan to add audio output to the board and SD card built in? Well, SD card we already have built in. Audio I don't know about because we've kind of run out of ports. Basically, I'm using all the ports on the ESP32 and then some, because even the I2C on here is shared with LED 8. So you have to choose between LED 8 or I2C. That's just a compromise that was needed. So there's nothing possible on there to still output audio also. Yeah. But if you're doing an FPP show, I think you can get other solutions which would output the audio while you also still use these boards in your show. But yeah. Galvanic isolation. Yeah, that's basically what it's about. Yeah. You need that before May 2023. Well, I think it'll be released within a month if you're on Discord. The official YouTube release, because I want to arrange some extra stuff for that, will be later. But the Dig-to-Go, hopefully, if everything goes right, will come out this month. So make sure you're on the Discord, and there will be a pre-sale announcement, basically. And then this is the perfect mobile device. It even has a relay, it's not a relay, but type setup, where you can, if you hit the button, it'll actually cut power to the LEDs completely, so it has a very low idle draw, etc., etc. And it has some DuPont cables or female headers. you can use to expand and all kinds of stuff. Do you happen to know a device that does multiple ports with passive PoE injection? I already have a switch without PoE. Yes, actually, if you look in the videos about my networking setup, that's most of the PoE I use. So I have some gigabit PoE injectors. They're 12 or 16 port, I believe, from head. And they basically just feed 48 volt gigabit compatible to my PoE clients. And I run my access points and my cameras and stuff like that on that. And they're just rack mounts that feed in PoE. So you put in your Ethernet cable, and an Ethernet cable with PoE comes out. Someone needs to write code to run synchronized shows right from the microcontroller. Well, you can do some stuff with WLED, but in the end, the power of the ESP32 is limited to what it can do, and this is already pushing the limits in that regard. So on the portable, so on the Dig-to-Go, where is it again? This will be 5 volt only. I might make a version that can do other voltages, but it makes less sense than you think. So I'm still evaluating that, and it's a lot more expensive. So this is a 5 volt only. It is a USB-C in. It is official USB-C, and then it can do up to 3 amps. So up to like 300 LEDs, except if you want to do white. That is pretty close to what those can use anyway, and for that kind of options, it works great. There was not an announcement for the Dig-to-Go that it's for sale on the Discord, but it will be soon. I'm thinking that I will officially announce the Dig-Octa being available, because that's getting released first, and then maybe silently and announce it on Discord. Also release a batch of the Dig-to-Go so that you can add it to your order if you want to. Again, also from AllNet and Dr. Z's. But we want to kind of make kits where you get like the power supply and the USB cable and the little pigtail and maybe even an LED strip all in one package. But that part isn't done yet. But at the same time also want to release them, so it'll be just the box and with the pigtail cable, and this connects directly to your LED strip. And then you can already use it. You just have to bring your own stuff. But in the end, I also want to have some retail packaging, which includes everything basically. And it's fun to compare. I had some samples made for the pigtail cables. This is one of the samples, and this is another of the samples. As you can see, the connector is the same, but the wires certainly aren't. And it's a nitpicking thing, because, you know, there's not that much power running through there. But, you know, in the end, I went with the supplier that would give me exactly the cables I specified. These are also nice silicone cables, so they're not... where is it so unsharp? So they're not PVC hard plastic type. They're very nice and smooth and rubbery, and, you know, I like working with those more, so that's what I'm going to sell. Yeah, they'll be there, Alan. Don't worry about don't worry about that. We have quite a number, but we will be making more. But we'll see during the pre-sale how long the numbers last. I have no idea. So it's a bit of both, Phil. I of course tested these cables also for voltage drop and things like that, and this has a little bit bigger inductor and better shielding. So yeah. But both is a good thing. But they're kind of, you know, this is 20 gauge officially. It has a little bit more copper than normal 20 gauge, but that's plenty for this little pigtail and then going to your LED strip, because this can already carry more current than this can provide or the LED strip can take in. So, yeah. It is not IP water rated, no. Yeah, what Johnny says is true. The ESP32 is like a 240 gigahertz or megahertz 240 megahertz dual core, while your computer runs like 100 laps around it. Yeah, no ingress protection. No, nothing like that. I have been thinking about that. This is really meant for those smaller projects, but I might offer these cables. So these in like a 1 meter variant or something like that. So if you wanted to put it somewhere, and you can put the little box a little bit further away together with the USB-C's power supply, that could work. But that's all future stuff. Initially, we'll just release this. Do we have pink cases? Not yet, but we could take a spray can. Ziploc bag, exactly. You have a deck or dock. I want to illuminate when people step onto it. Can you recommend a sensor that's good? PRR, radar for outdoors. Maybe you could try an ultrasonic sensor and otherwise a PRR sensor. But there's also sensors which have on one side a reflector and on the other side they have a laser. And then it's much more accurate because basically always senses the reflection. And then when the laser is cut, it registers that, and you can have like 6 or 7 meters distance because the laser is tuned for that. And you can just still hook that up to a GPIO pin to sense on and off basically. So maybe look for those. I'm not sure what those are called, but like reflector motion sensor or something like that. It is, especially the RF stuff like the Wi-Fi is critical. Ah, okay, yeah. So it's a good question actually, Jaco. So this thing itself is currently not CE rated, but we are in the process of having it officially tested. So, CE rating is a self-certification where you say it does fine, and then you just make a paper that says it does fine. But it's good to have some testing there. So we are going to be testing this and rating this for CE officially. Unofficially, the ESP32 in there is the main component basically, and that is an official Espressif module which is pre-certified. So there's no problems there. There's no problems in regards to Wi-Fi emissions and things like that. So I have no doubt we'll be able to rate this CE in its current form. But these officially don't carry that label yet. Future versions will. Yes, no problem there. Can we see the board in the Dig-to-Go? Sure. Oh wait, I can open this one, I guess. Yeah. So these, I don't think, are these production boards? I don't remember. This is a version 101. I believe the production is either 101 or 102. Don't remember. There's our little button. And we have a little hole for the microphone because that comes through to the top side, and the case actually, this is a custom plastic molded case, so no 3D printing or anything like that. This is real, professionally made plastic. There's even a little tube there that slots into the microphone. We have our DuPont female header type, and we have a few I/O pins, as you can see, 25, 23, 22, and 21. 22 and 21 actually have a pull-up resistor, so if you wanted to hook up I2C, you can do that to I/O 22 and 21, and then you can hook up screens and sensors and whatever else you'd like. They also have pull-ups if you want to add a rotary encoder, for instance. You can also do that using those. And then we have a ground, 3.3 volt ground, 5 volt, which is switched if you turn it on and off, and another ground. And, well, this is the board. Well, I mean, if I don't show it on screen, you know, someone just has to buy it and then they can see it anyway. And I've done plenty of live streams where I've shown the board before, so sure, I am a little bit worried that at some point they'll steal my designs and things like that. But then again, as with everything electronic, it's not like someone else couldn't build this if they wanted to. It'll take development time and things like that. But yeah, and even if they sell it at Costco, my name wouldn't be on it. And so, would you trust it as much? I don't know. So, I don't think the price has been mentioned. We're currently targeting, and that's not final yet, but it will be somewhere around that, for the case with the board and the little pigtail. We're targeting $24.99, so $25. So that is the cheapest controller in the lineup, although it actually has more functions than some of the other controllers. But that is because, well, it drives the least amount of LEDs. So I found it sensible to also price that the lowest. If you want to do that, Alan, you can try that. So yeah, we have USB-C input, the ESP32 as an official module. There is full USB to serial here. So if you, for instance, want to use it for a luciferin or anything else that uses a serial protocol to communicate, you can definitely do that. A nice and beefy LDO to drive everything. There is a PTC fuse for the LED power, and then there's another PTC fuse for the board power. So even if you try and somehow pull more through it than I wanted you to do so, it'll automatically limit that. There is a IR receiver, so you can use those little remotes and you know, send infrared commands. We have a big beefy MOSFET here, which will actually turn off all power to the LEDs if you turn it off in WLED. So if you're running on a battery and you just want to have it online and be able to turn it on when you need it, it sips power like 0.3 watts in standby or something like that. And there is 3 100 UF capacitors here to support the LEDs and very high transient effects and stuff like that. And there's even there's a level shifter, of course, and an appropriate resistor. And there is a digital microphone here, so you can use audio reactive or the user mod that they're working on for WLED to do audio reactive stuff and things like that. And yeah, there's reverse polarity protection and all kinds of other stuff on there. Kind of overkill, because if you get it delivered like this, it's going to be interesting how you're going to hook this up in reverse. But I figured, you know, somebody's going to try. So better to overbuild it than to underbuild it. And that's kind of what you expect from me, I think. If you wanted the most simple board out there that just does one thing and does it as simple and as little or minimalistic as possible, you wouldn't buy my boards. You want my boards because there's thought behind it, and it's well designed and very well tested and fused and protected and has those DuPont connectors and expandability and all kinds of hats like Ethernet and other things you can put on it. So this is kind of in the same mindset. Yes, this is kind of made for more mass production because it'll speak to a wider audience, or that's at least what I hope. But the same mentality went into this when designing it. So, yeah. Yeah, exactly, Phil. That's exactly what this board is for. Just simple setups like you need 100 or 200 LEDs. You want it to be safe and simple. Just, you know, plug it into a Dig-to-Go, done. A simple USB-C power supply. That's it. Oh no, my button fell into the case. Exactly, Yako. You know, I set out to design it as simple as possible, but then I was like, I can just add DuPont pins and I can keep the serial to the USB to serial converter in there and stuff like that. And yeah, that makes it a little bit more expensive. These aren't high profit products, but you guys know me. I'm not in it for the profit. So Yeah. Okay, these cases normally aren't meant to be opened and closed. There's all kinds of clips inside which are broken now. I can actually show you, I think. Yeah, so this clip is gone. This clip is gone. Okay, these two clips still work. But even with just two clips, it snaps together pretty well. Hold on, I need to angle it right. So normally I wouldn't advise opening these. And it's meant that you don't have to, so it's made that you don't have to. Nope. I need to close. There we go. Okay. So even with those two clips, it still clips together pretty nicely. Yeah. So yeah, this is for all those projects where Dig Uno might be overkill. You don't need full LED power because, in all honesty, oh, there's some plastic left over here. If you hook up 300 WS2812B LEDs, this will not drive it at full power. This will drive it at 15 watts max, and one of those strips can do like 50 watts max or something, or 65. But that is only when you do white. If you do a single color, we're already talking about 20 watts max, and this does 15, so that's pretty close. And I think in reality, during effects and things like that, you'd be hard-pressed to know the difference. But then again, if you want to run 600 LEDs, I wouldn't do it. I would just get a Dig Uno or Dig Quad so you can do proper power injection and things like that. Especially 5 volt. As long as you go, when you go further than 5 meters, you kind of just need more power. So fairy lights, all fine. Yeah, no problem. You can do a few hundred of those, like 100, 150. That's all fine. That's all. So, but don't expect this to do. You know, it's not driving 13 amps to my LED strip. Well, yeah, it's not meant to. And like tests we did a little while back, if you do a single injection on an LED strip, you're not going to get more than 4 amps into there anyway. So if you've ever hooked up a Dig Uno with one connection to the LED strip, and that was fine for you, this will be fine for you too. If you, on the other hand, had like 5 injections and stuff like that, and that made a significant difference in brightness in your project, then you need a Dig Quad or a Dig Uno or, you know, a Dig-Octa. It's all meant, purposely built for a specific, you know, need. Yes, that is infrared. Yes. So you can get one of those. Not sure I have one here. Nope. Nope, don't have one here. You can get one of those cheap Chinese $1. We'll probably be selling them infrared remotes, and this will receive it just fine. You need a LoRa add-on module. Oh my god! Yes, you can use the DuPont pins for that, I hope. Will heat be a problem? No, no problems at all. $25 is the price for one drink in Manhattan these days. Well, I was just in Manhattan, so I kind of know. But food cost in Canada, is somebody from Canada here? How do you do it? Like a can of Coke is like $2.50. And I know it's Canadian dollars, but still. Going out to eat is almost cheaper than going to the supermarket. It's like, what the hell's going on with these prices? I really like the button. I actually went through 4 buttons before I said, okay, this is the one we're going to use. No, there's no LoRa in there. There's Wi-Fi, but yeah. How do you change the effects on the Dig2Go? Over Wi-Fi, only the controller, USB-C, IR controller, any of the above, Catch-22. WLED can accept serial in, so you can change the effects and things like that. You can connect to it using Wi-Fi. You can use infrared. Yeah. Now, YouTube is hinting me again. Now would be a good time to insert ads. Sure, Alan. I had some boards already available, and I sent them to. I'm not sure I'm allowed to name his name, so I'm going to name it this guy. And he used about 100 Dig-to-Go's on Burning Man, and he had 1 meter poles and syncing using ESP Now. So that's a mesh Wi-Fi protocol, so that when they would walk closer together, all those poles would start syncing and things like that. It was really cool. I want to use this on my car, and I want to know how to use my 12-volt signal to make my... Well, you don't use a Dig-to-Go for that. That's really not meant for that. But a Dig Quad, I guess you could use it for that. But it's not meant to take in signals and then react to those signals. It's really just meant for LED shows and things like that. So your blinker, I'd leave just like it is. Yeah. I have not messed with the Zigbee ESP yet. But I don't have anything Zigbee myself, because I just use wireless and Bluetooth. So, yeah. Somehow this turned into the Dig-to-Go stream. So Alexa and Siri, you'd have to look at software. I think WLED can be linked with Alexa. But again, I've not done anything with that either. Oh, he created custom linkers. Okay, cool. Well, you can probably use my hardware for that, and then his software, if it's running on an ESP. So, yeah. Dig fidget toy. Yeah, I need to put it away. Let's focus on the face. Any more questions? Do we want to do anything more with Dig-Octa, or because we didn't talk a lot about it? We're going to release it soon. I'm still waiting for the Chinese people to come back from vacation. But yeah, and once that is done, we're going to be releasing it really soon. Can we do Ambilight with this? Yes, you can. It just depends on your power needs. If up to 3 amps of power is enough, then you can use a Dig-to-Go. If you need more power than that, I'd advise you to go to a Dig Uno or a Dig Quad. Sure, Jaco, yeah, that's perfectly fine. I've hooked them up to those... I guess I could just show you. I actually walked around on... damn, I forgot the name. Emil, which festival did we go to recently? I forgot the name. That's stupid. So, this is the power supply I have selected. Oh, you can't see. It's a 5-volt 3-amp unit. It actually comes with a USB-A plug. But that's actually fine. Oh, MCH, exactly. I actually walked around MCH and I showed this thing off to Emil, for instance. So let's plug it in. Oh, turn it on. I guess this has now become the Dig-to-Go stream. There's a little blue or green LED here. You can see that it's on. Other than that, there's no LEDs on the chassis. And let's plug this in. Oh. I mean, in case you were wondering, and this is not even on full brightness, this is 50%. In case you were wondering if it's bright enough, this is 256 LEDs at 50%. But with the Dig-to-Go, it's probably like 70 or 80% power usage. But if you can drive all of them at 50%, doing any kind of effect is, you know... Let's see if I can find it on my wireless. I don't know if this was a configured module. I think so. Hold on just a second. Let's see if it's this one. Yeah, there we go. So, you know, let's do... Or we can... oh, that's one of the things. I don't know if I talked about it. But, yeah, there's a microphone in there. And so it reacts to sound. Anyway, let's I don't know. Yeah, you can do all kinds of, you know, the normal kinds of... I think it's plenty bright. That's basically what I wanted to show. Let's turn the brightness down here. Yeah, so I can't see chat right now. Hold on. How many pixel LED on one Dig-to-Go? Well, it depends on how bright you want them to be. This is 256, and I actually had to turn it down because it was too bright. But it's currently using 8 watts, everything together. So, power supply, my little controller box, and then all these LEDs. And, I mean... Sure, it's not on the ultra bright setting. Let's make it as bright as it'll go. Okay, so now it's drawing 16 watts from the wall. Yeah. I mean, if I point it at my face, you know. I think it'll be plenty bright for most or any project up to like 200 to 300 LEDs. Especially like with like 300 LEDs. With 5-volt LEDs, you're kind of at the point where you need another injection at the end of the line. Then this won't suffice. You don't power inject with this. You just power as is. So 15 watts. So it's 5 volt, 3 amps. I'm going to turn that down because it's blinding. There we go. That's better. Now we can also see the pretty colors. Visualize or laugh. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and the microphone, let's go to some microphone effect. I don't know. It works quite well. Frequency wave. Yeah. I mean, the mic is it's like over here, but you can adjust the sensitivity and the squelch and things like that. Because it really only it really only does something when I talk. So, yeah. But, you know, again, you can do this with a Dig Uno or Dig Quad 2 using the AE Plus hat. But this is an all-in-one solution. Oh, this circle is just from AliExpress. I think, again, I have it linked in a previous video. Basically, it's meant to be broken out, so you can use each circle individually. But it actually came pre-soldered with all these connection wires. And then you just connect one of them, and it all works. And I was like, huh, that's actually pretty cool. So I just left it like that. So, yeah. Yeah, it's working great. The LED lollipop, exactly. Spilled cola, okay. My extra Raspberry Pi 4 power supply do 5.1, 3.5 amps. Yes, that'll perfectly power these, because the PTC internally is a 3.5 amp limit or 3.5 amp hold. So, yeah. I know, Philip, I know. But I'm working on the back end to make that possible. So. You'd like to use them for your car shows. Okay, sure. Yeah, you can use Dig-Unos and Dig-Quads for that. Because then you could also use 12-volt LEDs and you won't have to do any step down. Depending on which LED, I'm not sure how long that will last if you put 14 volts and stuff on that. But, yeah. Ah, okay. Yeah, USB-C battery bank. No problem. It's official USB-C too. So it'll actually turn on with a USB-C power supply. Unlike other devices we've been hearing about. Time, Emil, time. As I said, we're currently working on releasing all of this, because that needs to come out so people can still use it for Christmas this year. And we'll probably release a batch. The button works too. Oh, so amazing. A batch of these together with that. And then later the official release will follow. Okay. How long have we been going? 1 hour, 17 minutes. Okay. Yeah, you could actually calculate that. So you basically calculate or estimate what the LEDs are going to use. And then you can figure out how much power it uses. This box itself, 0.3 watts, something like that. Very little power. So, since you are pretty much the LED controller king, any idea if a Ambilight kit would be interesting to make? I'm not sure I would make a kit for that, because I'm not well versed in the Ambilight stuff. But you certainly use these components for that. Even the Dig-Uno, if you replace the fuse in there with a smaller fuse, so a mini-style fuse, you can even use the USB-C port on there or on a Dig-Quad to feed it the data and then have it power all the LEDs if you have a big screen on the back of your TV. What? We probably need to lock him in his garage. No, I'm here pretty often. Don't worry about that. Was that maybe kits with like cameras and stuff like that? I have talked to them about that, and it's something that's in the pipeline, but because they're not a big player like AliExpress, or even if you compare it to PCBWay or something like that, it's a lot harder to do. But yes, that is certainly the intention. And I'm also looking at options to maybe find local distributors and stuff like that. But do keep in mind, whatever solution that is made, it won't become cheaper. It'll likely become more expensive than it is now. Because if I have to buy these in bulk, or get these in bulk, ship them to the Netherlands, then I have shipping. Then I have tax I have to pay. And then I have import fees, which you don't have personally. Then I need to stock these and keep them somewhere. I need to repackage them, so that costs time and or money. And then I need to ship them again, so second time shipping costs. And by that time, you've paid more than the fees to import it yourself. But, Yeah, okay, so a camera with a kit is really something different. Those can be cool. Are the plastic box molds still super expensive? Yes. I will need to sell a lot of these to make that back. Yeah, so for that reason, we are looking into it, CJ. But yeah, don't expect it to be cheaper. That's basically what I'm saying. So to get a plastic mold and let's say 1,000 of these cases made, I'm not going to tell you exactly what that costs, but let's say between $5,000 and $10,000. And that's excluding the design process. So if you have a design, you go to a plastic firm and you say, make me molds and I want 1,000 made, 5 to 10K at least. Well, in the US we already have Dr. Z's, but thank you, Alan. A car controller that has built-in relays. Maybe at some point, Ron, but it's not on the roadmap currently. Yeah, different countries have different costs. Here in the Netherlands, we basically pay €4 on top of the tax. I think that's reasonable. But in Belgium and in Sweden, I believe you get totally ripped off. I'm not going to say, Emil, but plenty for now. But currently with, I don't know, am I going to say this? I guess. With the Dig-to-Go and the Dig-Octa currently in production, both of them, any profit I've made from any of this, that's currently at the factories. So, yeah. But I still don't like doing pre-order stuff, because, then you have to give me money, and I promise to give you something, but it doesn't exist yet, so I don't like that. This exists, and this works, and this is real. But I'll put my own money up for it, and then you can buy it, and then I'll have it back. At large scale, that's not feasible or economic, Nicholas. Patreon. Yeah, I guess I could do Patreon, but stop YouTube. Now is not a good time for an ad. Go away. Sure, but Prusa does it for different reasons. If I make a case and I know I'm going to use that for 10,000 pieces, I don't know, it's more economic to have it plastic molded than printed. Definitely, for sure. I looked into this. Absolutely, hands down, tenfold less expensive. But if you make parts and you don't know how many you're going to need, or you want to keep tweaking those parts, then a 3D printer makes a lot more sense. Actually, if you already have the mold, molded plastic is much faster than 3D printing. And the quality, also the quality is way better. So, I mean, we want more ways to support the development. Thanks, Philip. Just buying this stuff is already, it's okay. There is no DIY versions planned for the Dig-to-Go or the Dig-Quad. Those are just not possible, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, the amount of components, even on like the power boards, is in the hundreds. Small SMD stuff, and these boards would be impossible without this small SMD stuff. So, no DIY versions planned. So, yeah. Yeah, Jaco, I know. I think our mold is like 50 or 100K suited. I'd have to look it up. But we didn't go for the cheapest version. And this is also not the cheapest plastic. This is really nice, smooth, well-made plastic. It's never a good time for a YouTube ad. Yeah, the problem with Patreon is that, I don't know, people might feel they're paying for it now, so then why do they still have to buy stuff, and why aren't there DIY versions of this or that, and I don't know, man. I like keeping things clear. Do glow in the dark cases. I actually don't know if they can do that. That's a good question. I had a plan for the Dig-Octa. I guess I can share you one of the secrets. Let's do a secret. Let's do it. Hold on. I need to get something. Oh. So, I have lots of ideas, and some just are too idiotic to even do. Let's go to the top cam. Let's share a secret from during the Dig-Octa development, and that was while building the Power 5. So you have these plugs. This is our mangled board. Hold on. Nope. This is the board we kind of destroyed because the factory made a boo-boo. Let me pull this out. So the way it is now is that the fuse LEDs, so when there's a broken fuse, they're here at the front. You all saw the power board video where I showed you where those lights are. So each port has the one, and the light is closest to the port. So I actually kind of tested and talked to the makers of these plugs to make me a transparent version, and then I could actually kind of embed the broken fuse indicator in the port. So in this port itself, and you'd also kind of need the transparent counterpart, but that wasn't even specifically needed, although this goes inside of the port. So even if it was not transparent, it would block a lot of the light, but still the plug would light up. So I wanted a transparent plug to solder on the board, and then with a broken fuse indicator inside of the plug, so the LED went into the plug, and then if there'd be a broken fuse, the connector itself would light up. I thought that would be amazing, but I mean, getting them in a different color, yeah, that adds like a few cents. So, you know, I like doing that to differentiate, like all the power input ports and the output ports here on the board are orange, for instance. That's only a few cents. But I'd have to have 20,000 made, and they would be 8 or 9 times as expensive as the normal versions. So that would raise like the costs of the board, because I had to pay all kinds of custom setup fees and all kinds of stuff. Like the power board would suddenly become $10 or $15 more expensive. So I was like, it's a cool feature. You hope you never see one turn on, because, you know, and they couldn't guarantee me the quality of the plastic was the same and that it wouldn't become brittle if it became hotter. And, you know, if there's lots of power running through here, it'll become warmer. So in the end, I abandoned that idea because that was just too expensive. But I was like, yeah, man, we're going to have plugs that glow themselves if a fuse is broken. But that was one of those ideas that I did a few tests kind of with it, but that never left the drawing board because cost-wise, that's just never going to happen. I mean, yeah. Adds to the supply chain risk, because this is a generic part. So if I say to a company, I want 5,000 of those plugs, I get a good price and I can have them in 2 weeks. And if I say, okay, give me those 20 or 25,000 transparent versions, they say, okay, give us 3 months. So yeah, I mean, they make fuses that have embedded blow lights. Oh, okay. Well, there's now a indicator on the board, and I even did it worse than most people would, because this is all over designed. So other distribution boards often can be found with blown fuse lights on there, even some other LED controllers. But these boards are 5 volt, 12 volt, and 24 volt compatible. And on most, if not all other boards, the intensity of the light will be influenced by the voltage you put into the board. I didn't like that. So I wanted a blown fuse light that will glow the same intensity when it's 5 volt, 12 volt, or 24 volt. Because I didn't want a very dim LED at 24 volt and a too bright LED at 5 volt. I wanted consistent brightness, whatever the voltage. So I designed a completely custom circuit to do this. And now my blown fuse indicator lights all glow at the same intensity, whatever the power you put in there, except maybe 800 volts. So yeah, that's how things go. So even though I do make decisions based on cost, some features, it's still me designing this stuff. You guys know me by now. I want it to be good. So, yeah. Show the YouTube ads! I don't know, man. I'd rather you guys watch me and then buy a board at some point or something like that. Maybe click... Oh, no, don't... Well, do that, but click an affiliate link. Go to the description or one of my web pages, to like the tools page, whatever, and whenever you open AliExpress, go through one of my links. That'll pay me 10 times more than YouTube ever will. This Dig-to-Go on your website now. Yeah, some preliminary documentation is up for that. But that article still needs a bit of updating. And it'll be available soon, Kyle. Carlo, soon. YouTube ads with the magic smoke? What? Aw, only 23 likes. Can't win them all. So is this still turned on or off, or what's going on? Oh, it still works. Oh wow, that looks cool with 60 frames per second. Nice. Yeah, and the on-off button works great. Off. Turn off. Yep. Okay, gone. Bye. Let's come back. Okay, cool. Anyway. Yeah. Oh, before Christmas, for sure. Actually, the real plan is to release Dig-Octa and then have some Dig-to-Go available in the shops, but not promoted. And then before Christmas, we'll do an official big release of the Dig-to-Go. And hopefully I'll have the full kits by then, so you can buy it as a nice Christmas present for yourself or for someone else. 800 volts, your whole house will become the fuse indicator. Yeah, that's for sure. Have you ever seen how LED strip is made? I have, yes. Oh, yeah. No, it's absolutely before Christmas. This is planned to be released so you can still use it for your Christmas shows. So, like, in the next 2 weeks, I hope. We're trying to make that. But this is following pretty soon after. Actually, Philip, I noticed that too. I was in the stream of Unexpected Maker, and I was trying to talk to Johnny. And if I'd add Johnny and end the sentence with a smiley, it would just erase all text. What's going on, YouTube? My YouTube is over here. I'm talking to you, YouTube. Add an extra space after the emoji? That's so broken. I ordered a 10-pack of those transistor-based level shifters from China. The WLED wiki says not to use I2C-based ones, but I'm not sure why. I can very quickly answer that for you. I2C is a 400 kilohertz signal, and WS2811 whatever X is a 800 kilohertz signal. So those level shifters are too slow. The end. I've seen the LED strip width as it was before cutting. The company I'm working for has done something nice. Stripped like... Yeah, sure. That's possible. And yeah, they get made in giant sheets because it's just flexible PCB material. Cool, Nicholas. Yeah, if you get on the pre-sale, that'll certainly be in time. And the other stuff, we're working really hard. I guess they're a little bit more expensive. They're not that expensive, are they? So, we're at the 1.5 hour mark. We're going to try and switch back to my face, but I'm already here. Any more questions? Dig-to-go, Dig-Octa, something else related. Are we getting the Ethernet version of your new ESP32? For what board are we talking about? Fat Daddy G8Z? Because the Dig-Octa, where are we? There we go. It always comes with an Ethernet on top. So that Ethernet's always included on the Dig-Octa. Thank you for all you do. No problem, Alan. Any news on the pre-built analog boards? Well, I guess we... Oh, no, I'm going to take a drink first. I'm going to go for the lemon. We'll make that a little bit part of the secret, shall we? I first have a question for everyone in chat. You can influence my development, right? So, we have the Data Booster Maxi, although I don't have one right now. Let me find the Data Booster real quick. Oh, it's right here. Huh. 2 secrets in one stream. Oh no. Could you make a PCB to make ESP30? Yeah, sure. You can do that, Emil. So, we have a Data Booster Maxi, right? And we all know it. It's easy to use to extend strings and to re-amplify your LED signal, to change the resistor value, to use it for power injection, things like that. And that's been working great. We've actually been selling way more than I thought. But it's kind of bulky because it has terminals on it, and it's a big PCB because I wanted to have the power injection on there, etc. Now, most people use these in 33R mode. I don't think many use them in 249R mode, and if they want to, this version will exist, you know. But when building this guy, I also experimented with smaller form factors. So this is basically the same board. It has 2 cables pre-soldered to it right now with JST connectors, but you can solder X connector or whatever to that. So this basically does the same function, except it doesn't have the terminals, so you have to solder to it, or it has to come pre-made with cables, and it doesn't have the mounting holes and the power injection options and things like that. So this is the Mini, I think. Yeah, this is the Mini. I think I developed 4 versions. So the Maxi, the normal, the Mini, and the Micro. This is the Mini. So this is 10 millimeters wide. So this is the same exact width as an LED strip. I don't have an LED strip here, if you believe it or not. So I can't show you, but you'll have to believe that. Would there be people interested in me also fabricating this model? Because it's much easier to get some heat shrink and heat shrink it over this guy than over this guy if you want to use it outside. And functionality wise, they're exactly the same except for the features that are not on there, of course. So like the switcher and things like that. But it would still boost your signal and everything exactly the same as this guy would. Would people be interested in that? Oh, Nicholas actually has a great question. The brainboard and the power boards will be sold separately, but if you buy both, or even separate, whatever, you get all the hardware to link them together and to make a stack, basically. And at some point, we'll probably make kits like, okay, you want 2 brainboards and a Power 7 HC or a Power 7? Sure, we can... what the... Okay, I was seeing something weird. We can make a kit like where it's all included, but it's basically the same as clicking 1 power board and then clicking 2 brain boards. So yes, they'll be sold separately, but they are meant to combine, and you get everything you need to combine them in the package. So. What would you use the double signals for? Because generally when you're linking LED strip, you don't transport the double signals. The double signals is mostly intended for if you have a dead LED or something like that on the LED strip. But if you're linking 2 strips together, you generally just use the data out and not the backup out. But yeah, unless we're talking clocked LED strip, and then it's a whole different game. Sure, it would fit in aluminium channel, but what will you use that for, Kyle? 33 ohm is for long distance over 3-wire cable. That's correct. Oh, you could solder a strip to the Mini and hide it in the channel. Yeah, yeah, that would fit. I mean, it's literally the same size and spacing. I think I'm trying to find an LED strip. I think I paid attention to that during development. Let's see here. Can I grab something random out of my my drawer here? No. Oh no, this is something really different again. That is white LED strip with a chip there. We'll do a video about that at some point. Nope. Oh, this might work. Yep, yeah, it could work. Sure, you can do that, Emil. I've been thinking about making something like that, so I have some plans for that. So for doing differential signaling, but I'm not sure when that's going to happen yet. So here we have an LED strip, and did I make the pads on the bottom? Oh, of course, I also made the pads on the bottom. So I'm going to wreck this prototype. There we go. Let's see if we can line this up. So these are spaced slightly different, as you can see. So that's not going to work. Let's see here. Well, this is the same thing, so that doesn't count. Okay, let's get another LED strip. This one? Yes. Yes, this is the one I need. Of course, this is coating on it, so it's going to be a little bit harder to see. Yeah, I have some plans for that, Emil, but I need time to actually do that. So this... Yeah, so my pads are spaced further apart to make it easier to solder, so that might not quite fit. Chris, in theory, yes, if they don't check the package. AllNet already puts a different value on there than the retail value, because that is allowed. But yeah. They do put the real value in part on there, but it's a difficult thing. So I'd have to change it slightly, but I'd have to move the pads further apart, or closer together, actually. That's not that great, because, you know, I like easier soldering. Yeah, Emil, I'm fully aware. Differential signaling, if you have to go a long distance, is a nice thing. Problem is with AllNet, or actually it's not a problem. They are a genuine company, and they're not some shady seller on AliExpress. I mean, they do warranty and everything too. So they also have to list a decent value on the package, because, you know, that's obligated by law. So, you know. So yeah, about these data boosters, just a question of mine. If there would be interest in a smaller version like this, I still think it would be best suited for bridging gaps, basically. That would be its main intended purpose, because I have pads on here on the back, like these pads here, you could use for injecting VCC and ground. So there are injection pads on there, but you'd always have to solder with this version, and that's why I made this version, because you don't need soldering because it has the terminals. So, you know. But maybe there is a spot, or it is an option to make these also where people can do the soldering if they want to, and if they don't want to, they get the Maxi. And if they don't mind soldering and would like a much smaller solution, they can use this guy. So that's what I'm considering. So yeah. Yeah, so Nicholas, you can. I actually thought of that. So there is actually solder pads here to do exactly that. But, you know, then you have to solder. And that's where the problem starts for a lot of people. They don't, or can't, or whatever, want to solder. So, yeah. Yeah, that is in the pipeline, Yako, but it's just tough for a smaller company. John, those things actually kind of exist. We recently did a live stream where there is a strip that can take up to 30 volts or something like that, which then uses 5 volt LEDs, and it has a buck converter per segment. But then you're paying $200 for a strip instead of like 80 for 20 meters. So that exists. I showed off a strip with a built-in buck converter per segment, so that you could input 24 volts, and you could actually string like 2 or 3 together with a single injection. So that exists. It's just really expensive. I think I have that here somewhere. Yeah, let me get it. Hold on. Sure, you could save on the labor side, but then we're talking commercial pricing again. So these strips, let me show you in detail. These are 30 LEDs a meter. They are 5 volt LEDs, and then each segment, like here, you know, buck converter, buck converter, buck converter, buck converter, buck converter. Now, and you know, I can go on. This whole spool is full of buck converters. So this is a 5 meter strip. This is 30 LEDs a meter. I did ask them if they could do 60 LEDs a meter and if they could do RGBW, they can. But then minimum order quantity is 500 meters, so half a kilometer of LED strip, and it's $40 a meter. I was like, yeah, thanks, bye. If the strip is going to cost $40 a meter, so for 5 meters you're paying like $200, I can power inject. That's no problem. I can run a few wires. Hey. So yeah. So it's all about cost and mass production and things like that. And if it's not mass production, even what I'm doing, like with my boards and things like that, it's not even considered mass production. Now I do larger volume production, and that is what enables me to now make products like this. That is because I also make the other stuff, which is paying for this, so that I can make this in a large enough volume, and I have a decent enough chance to sell enough volume to make it economically feasible. Because when we made, I made a pre-production run of the Dig-Octa boards, and I don't mind telling you, I made 30 brain boards because I sent it to 6 testers, like Air Cookie and Philip and some other guys. These, if I make 30, costs like $80 to $100 a piece. I mean, it's not the components, it's a setup cost for the fab house, it's for the PCB house, for all the design stuff, for the pick and place machines, or the component gathering, you name it. And these power boards, these are like $150, $200 a piece. And I sampled them to 6 boards, and some I sent multiple boards. So my pre-production run of this guy is a few $1,000s just to test it out and see if the fabrication is okay, if it's going to work with all the specifications and options, if the house can actually make it the way we want to. Then we have to set up a flashing and testing street and validation and custom design packaging. But even just a test run of these boards and getting 30 of them is a few $1,000s, like $2,500. But then that would never be economically viable. But if you don't make 30, but you make 1,000, suddenly that price drops from like $200 per board to like $30 a board. Same board, same components, exact same, but you're just making more. And that's what you have to do. Otherwise, the product will never be viable. So that's also the thing. Even with these small things, I need to make 1,000. I can't make 20 or 50 or 100, because then the price would just be 2 or 3 times higher. And I often get approached by people like, I really like the Dig Uno and Dig Quad. Thanks. Yeah, but I'd like to change this thing, that it's over there, and I'd like to move this terminal from here to there. And I'm like, sure, we can work on that. We can do a custom product for you. No problem. Can you order at least 500? And he was like, no, I need like 4. Yeah, okay. Can you then pay $500 a piece? What? No. Then I'm sorry, I can't help you. And that's the reality of the thing. I mean, yeah. It's a big jump from doing a little bit DIY stuff to doing actual production in that sense. Oh, Philip is a beta tester for sure. Absolutely. What? No, Philip, no. I had to make these. I had to make these anyway, because these are too expensive to do a production run of like 500 or 1,000 without doing a pre-production run. Because if there is an issue with the production run, where, let's say, on all Power 5s, they put the diodes in reverse, that actually happened, to To fix it then is always going to be more expensive than doing a pre-production run and then having boards to test and vet and change and work with and you name it, than to actually have to fix production. So, yeah. Cool, Emil. Yeah, sure. We'll have to look at that. There's a thing with certification and stuff like that, but that is in the pipeline. But yeah. Yeah, exactly, Johnny. I mean, if it's a small board like this, if there's a failed batch of 500, I'll survive that. I mean, that's not too big of an issue. But if I have a failed batch of this stuff, that'll just instantly ruin me. Thanks, Nicholas. Is there a difference between the Dig quads? Like, I have the red one. Yeah, there is one difference, Gary. The silkscreen is all different, but one electronic difference, and that is that it has 33R resistors instead of 249. But if you buy current Dig quads and Dig Unos, those have the resistor switcher on there, and the Dig-Octa also has the resistor switcher on there. You can see those banks with the tape over here. So those have the resistor switchers per channel, and then you can switch between 249 and 33R. But my old boards used to be 249. For that company, I produced custom boards with 33R because they were always going to use 3-wire cable, and since then I've updated the normal designs to have the resistor switcher on there. So I have Drahtstahl. This will be the first product that I will be offering with, actually this power supply. I'm still testing USB cables, and I'm still testing LED strips. That's some really interesting stuff happening again. Man, Chinese manufacturers. You go to this company. Okay, you make a spec sheet. I want an LED strip that has these specifications, and you send that to 5 LED strip manufacturers, and you get 5 samples, and all of them are different. Some say, yeah, we used 2812B from World Semi, but they didn't. Others have like really flimsy PCB material, and they say, yeah, it's fine, nobody will notice. And I'm like, but I tested it. And they're like, oh, shit, why did you test it? I'm like, what do you mean, man? Come on. And then, it's fun. I like this kind of stuff, where, I think it's funny. It's sad that it works that way, but I think it's funny at least. But, come on. It's just so, yeah, I don't know. They'll never notice. What? I'm going to sell this product. Yeah, we have lots of buyers. Okay, never mind. I'll look for someone else. Bye-bye. Have you tested the Brainboard with ESP Home? Yes, I have. Because there is a I2C temperature sensor on there. Oh, there we go. Where is it? It's over there. So there's a temperature sensor over here. That is an SHT31, which is connected through I2C. That's why we also have an I2C output. So you can hook up external sensors if you'd like to measure the temperature in your box or something like that. But there's currently no real good driver for that for WLED, so I tested that with ESP Home. So of course I also tested Ethernet, works fine. ESP Home does not have any SD card support whatsoever, so that didn't fly, but it works fine in WLED and ESP Pixel Stick. And ESP Home can do some stuff with the digital outputs, but their code for digital outputs isn't as refined as WLED, so there's much less effects, and in some combinations you'll get corruption and things like that, which doesn't happen in WLED or ESP pixel stick. So it's really pick your poison in that sense. But if you wanted to use this as like an 8-volt relay driver, because these are all 5.12 volt signals, hey. Yeah, exactly, Jacob. They were like, but why are you testing it? We said it's fine. Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm testing it. And this is not AllNet, by the way. This is external suppliers. So, yeah. If you work in Europe, write out a tender, you'll get the same result. Okay, yeah. Please make an episode about failed products without exposing them. Maybe at some point. Are you going to design your own LED strips later? Is that secret number 2? I think I've lost track of secrets. Maybe at some point. Currently not big enough for that, so no. Yako wants to know how big my blacklist is on WhatsApp for Chinese manufacturers. Yeah. Have a question on Dig-to-Go. The voice portion, will it come with a voice version of WLED or something else, or will it have to be flashed? I haven't decided yet. The current versions are all flashed with a custom compiled and preset version of the audio reactive version of WLED. But for WLED 14, Blazonczyk, I don't know how to pronounce his name, and some others are working on a user mod in the normal WLED, and once that is out, I'll probably ship with that. But the current versions are shipping with a beta audio reactive version, which works fine, but yeah. No, it literally does not have SD card support at all, so there's no code for that in ESP Home. So yeah. Say, Savak, hey, nice to see you again. I was in work and now I can watch. Oh, well, we're at the end of it. We've already been going 2 hours, but yeah. Yeah, I don't want to sell inferior products. There's a lot, more than enough crap available out there. If I'm going to sell something, it's going to be decent, good quality. It might be more expensive than the cheapest thing you can buy on AliExpress, but that's then going to be that. I don't know, you know. But what about the pre-built analog now? Because that was the question before the data boosters. Sure. I'm going to share a weird secret, though. Maybe we can do this in another live stream. I have a little box here. Yeah. Oh, there's China on there. And in these little boxes, there is the DC-DC converters that I want to test. What version is this? Yes. So this is a little DC-DC converter. Input 12 to 24 volt. Output 5 to 15 amps. And I want to test that. And that has to do with my analog controller. Now, you may ask why. But we're not going to talk about that. Or I'm not going to answer that. But we'll probably do another live stream at some point where we are going to run these things through their paces and see if they blow up or not. I hope they don't blow up because I kind of like the form factor. But yeah, I have a few of them. So different, like, 12 volt 10 amps and 5 volt 10 amps and 5 amps and So we'll probably do a testing stream at some point again for those, and that actually has to do with my analog project. That's all I'm going to say about that. Are all Quinled Quad V3 and AllNet using the new power input terminals? Yes, they are. There's no versions that are being made with the old terminals, Phil. So that might be an old picture. But it'll be version 3.1 with all the new stuff. Yeah, exactly, Nicholas. But that's why we have options, and I have the option to produce good stuff, in my opinion, that adheres to my standards at least. So that's what I'll do. And as long as people want to buy that, I guess I'm doing good. So yeah, we already we had lots of stuff about the Dig-to-Go, and we had this stuff, and we just had a sort of secret. So yeah, we'll share more about that in the coming weeks, months. It'll be a fairly long development time, but yeah. Now, okay, I'll share one more thing. One more thing. Because I've already tested it myself. It's going to be available first on Discord, but it's not so much a pre-sale because the video will follow pretty soon after. But generally, to thank people for hanging out on my Discord, I release my videos, or I release my information there first, and then I release a video about that a few days later. So if you're on the Discord and accepting notifications for the stuff I put in my notification channel, then you will be the first one to be able to buy it. And this isn't a paid Discord. This isn't to get more money. This is just for appreciation that people hang out on the Discord, and lots of people there who also try to help other people. Lots of information there. So this is just to thank them and give them first bid on it before it releases on YouTube too. Okay, if you're on the Dr. Z's channel, he might announce it there. I'm only going to announce it on my Discord, but yeah. So, funny things. We've often looked for analog digital, white digital LED strip Discordians. Yeah, that doesn't sound great. And I recently found 2 new candidates. So there's some issues with it. And I might make a video about it at some point or not. I'm not sure. But I guess I'll share it here in the live stream. So first one is this one. And this one is really interesting. Because it's not in focus. Still, no, make my hand go away. There we go. So this is a digital 24 volt LED strip, but it only has white LEDs. Right? So we see here 24 volt, 24 volt. We see data and we see ground. Data in, data out, etc. And it has warm white and cool white LEDs. Now I thought, okay, that's going to be awesome. And because it has lots of LEDs, because it's 24 volt, it needs to address 6 LEDs at the same time. And, well, if you have 240 LEDs a meter like this strip, you still have a pretty fair resolution for the whole strip, basically. But it's not going to work as it is right now. The strip works, and you can, use a Dig Uno or Dig Quad or Dig-Octa with a 24 volt power supply and then run this strip. But the protocol used by this chip, even though it's WS2811 compatible, the way it's hooked up, it doesn't work like you'd expect. So it's not like these warm white are red, the other the cold white are green, and then the third color isn't hooked up. There's a different pattern or matrix going on here for which we'll need a custom mapping or driver for this to work. But if that does work, this is quite nice strip for addressable white lighting. It just needs some software changes to make it work. I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but, I haven't measured CRI yet. I don't expect it to be great. Somewhere in the lines of 70 to 80 maybe. But yeah, sure, you'll see these chips. Yes, that absolutely Dutch towers. But if they're in a diffuser or if there's a slight amount of distance, I don't think it'll be too noticeable. And I mean, I got a whole strip here. I think it's 10 meters because this is pretty thin LED strip. It's pretty thin. And I got a whole strip here. So I believe it's 10 meters. And because it's 24 volts, that actually works nicely. But yeah, currently it's not usable because it needs a protocol change or an order change or something like that to make it work with WLED, for instance. I don't think ESP Pixel Stick has support for this strip. Not that I'm aware of. Well, if it was decent white LED strip, you could then use digital strips for primary lighting, where now you can't really because they're all too bad of a quality white light. But if it's it's decent CRI, you could do that. So then I also have a second version from a different supplier. And these also have an external LED chip, so WS2811, or, well, this is likely a clone. Can we zoom in on that more? No, we can't zoom in more. And this just has white LEDs, so then you think, then we can probably just address this per segment. Nope again. There's again some kind of different layout or matrix on here, which makes these work differently than you'd expect. Because as you can see here, there's a chip here, but then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 LEDs. And then, okay, so what? It's red, green, so it's red over here, green over here, and blue over here? No, it's all kinds of mixed up. And, well, I think this one is actually, so 6 red, 6 blue, and 6 green, but it still doesn't work right in WLED because it doesn't know how to address that, basically. It thinks it's single pixel. So I believe on this one, if you start a chase and you just start a trace on the blue ones, it will go through all the strip and then go back again. But it's now skipping 2/3 of the LEDs because it doesn't know these are conceptual on the LED strip. So in the end, it doesn't work right either. Yeah, exactly. If you still want some effects and things like that. But I can imagine different purposes. For instance, if you put these in your living room and you line up all of your ceiling, where's my hand? Okay, and you line up all all of your ceiling, you could then say, okay, I want 5 segments, and I want this to be a segment, and I want this to be a segment, and I want this to be a segment, and then today I'm working on this side of my room or whatever, and this side can be dim while this is more lit up, and you can actually divide the LED strip in multiple parts to light up only those parts. And maybe some of the LEDs are glaring or in your sight at night, and you can just dim that part down while you keep another part lit up. And yeah, I can imagine all kinds of uses for addressable white LED strip if they're decent LEDs. And, well, I can already tell you, these are not. But they're at least a lot better than RGBW white. But I still need to do more testing, but I don't have the time right now. So, yeah, but for both of these, we basically need a new pixel type definition in WLED, for instance, where it understands how to address these. The protocol is the same, they're just wired different. So it'll need changes in software to, figure out the matrix, how it needs to be addressed, and that's a pixel, that's a pixel, that's a pixel, that's a pixel, instead of red, green, and blue are connected to a different set of LEDs, and then it doesn't make sense anymore. So I'm hoping that's coming, and I'll try and make that happen with whatever influence I have. I can't do that kind of programming, but there's certainly interesting options there. You need a Quinled intern. I actually need a Quinled secretary, because I'm talking to you guys here, and you haven't seen me like in 1.5 months, or at least in a live stream. I think I haven't opened my email box from Intermittent Technology for exactly that same time. I mean, I try to keep up with Discord and YouTube comments and things like that, but there's just so much email. I think I have like 300 or 400 unread messages, and I'll sit down at some point and work on those. Lots of them are questions that I think like, okay, please just look at the website or join Discord or but it's just too much. I can't do work if I also do my email, basically. And I need to do work because I need to keep developing stuff and testing and making stuff. I'll support it. That's not the problem. But Discord is often a much quicker interaction than having to sit down on an email and having to email back and forth 5 or 6 times. And, I try to keep up, and I'll keep up again. I'll catch up at some point, but yeah, no, I don't know. And I mean, on my email form it says go to the Discord for support, and then they still email me. Or even worse, they'll make a Reddit post, they'll email me, and they'll post it on Discord, and then I reply 3 times. But yeah. I don't know about that, BR25X. I mean, I appreciate them emailing me, actually. I'm not saying that I don't appreciate that. It's just, it's become too much. Especially during these times, during these months. It's just impossible for me to keep up and also do the work. And I want to support everyone that buys my stuff, but please come to the Discord. Because there's more people there and they help me out. Absolutely, Nicholas. I'm there daily for hours. And I like it. I like hanging out with you guys on Discord or over here. Don't get me wrong. It's just, I can't keep up with the emails right now. It goes the Boeing effect, yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to finish this drink, and then we're going to end the live stream. Oh, Philip might be looking for a new job soon. Interesting. Don't think I can afford you, man, but we'll see. For businesses, okay. Have a good night, Mr. Blue. Thanks for hanging out. I haven't talked to him directly. I did post some stuff in the feature request channel. But I might reach out to him directly because I think it would serve a lot of people, not just me or my products or whatever, but it would serve a lot of people to have compatibility for this stuff in WLED. Yeah, I think it would serve a lot of people, not just me. I don't do it for me, but do it for people who want to use it. Yeah, Jacob, I mean, if it's all running smoothly, that's fine. But if there's, issues and people mailing you, and it quickly becomes a lot. Click like before you leave. No, it gives this extra Swedish intention there, Johnny. So, that was fun. I liked hanging out with you guys. We took a look at a lot of hardware. Even some, secret LED strips. They're not really secret, but Oh, Draadstahl is here. Oh, Johnny is... Oh! Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate that. Emil Bart, I believe they are actually working on some of those things. Yeah, no worries, Nicholas. I've just been really, really busy. And that'll continue for a little bit. So that might actually mean that I do more live streams, but I went on vacation on a holiday for a little bit and stuff like that. And there's some videos about Dig-Octa still coming that I want to produce, and producing that level or type of videos actually, it basically takes me a week. I think they came out really good, but, you know, producing all the stuff and documentation and everything, the production guidance in the background and things like that, it just takes a lot of time. So, yeah. Well, that's just the thing, Events CJ. If you can order like 10 kilometers of it, probably not that much. But then you'd have to sell 10 kilometers of it. And I'm not at that scale yet that I can do that. So, yeah. My trip was great. We had a great time with the girlfriend, and we landed in Washington, and then we drove up in Washington D.C. We stayed there for a few days. We drove up to Niagara Falls. And we actually went, you know, under the waterfall, things like that. And then we drove to Toronto. We stayed there for a few days. And then we drove to Petawawa. It's a little village somewhere in Canada. And then we drove to another little village I don't even remember the name of. And then we drove down. We stayed... I don't remember the place names. But we stayed there for a day. And then we went to New York, and we stayed 4 nights in New York, 5 nights. And we explored there and did all kinds of subway stuff and the 9/11 memorial and all kinds of other things. That was fun. And then we flew back home. So, yeah, that was cool. Sure, Nicholas. Well, at some point, we'll do a meet and greet or something like that somewhere. But, yeah. Anyway, with that, I am going to close off this live stream again. As always, thank you so much for watching and using the products and liking them and things like that. That's absolutely appreciated. And, yeah, I hope to see you back in the next video or the next live stream or in Discord or the YouTube comments or on Reddit. And, yeah. Bye-bye.